Hi everyone, welcome back to Listen Up. Today we're joined by Kevin Davy. Nice to have you on today, man.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. The best way to start, I guess, would be to say where we met.
Yeah.
Because most of the time when I start these interviews, I say we met on Instagram or we just passed by briefly, but we actually met when I was volunteering at So Far Sound.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting because I remember the first time I saw you playing, and then the next time that I was presenting, I was just like, well, this is gonna be something different, ladies and gentlemen. And then you arrived on stage and it was awesome. I think what would be awesome is if you just talked a bit about what happened before So Far Sound and when we met, which was maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like this.
Yeah, okay.
So how did you arrive in music? And apparently I heard that you're French. How did the France UK transition worked out? Were you doing some music in France? And go ahead, you're super curious.
So yeah, I started the music around. I always been in plunged into music with my parents. Every Sunday my dad plays music at home. If it's you want to sleep or not, he put the volume loud, and then you just have to listen to everything. And so he's got a very broad range of genre that he was playing, and I really got into the details of songs, not really the music but the details. And I remember one day he played this VHS cassette, and it was a Woodstock. And I was like, oh my God, who's that man playing the guitar like that? And it was Jimi Hendrix. And I was like, wow. I grabbed the guitar. My dad was an acoustic guitar. And I just tried to play it, and I just broke strings, everything. But I was okay, I'm gonna buy another guitar and then practice, and then music started that way. Yeah.
So you were just like, I want to start playing guitar, and I think the bass line should be Jimi Hendrix. That's actually
It was hard.
I can't imagine.
It was Voodoo Child that I started to play with, so it was tough. Yeah.
Did you do the classic of trying to directly play this one?
Yeah, it was.
There was you should learn the main chords. You were just that. I want to play that.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm very driven. If I want to try something, it's the thing. I don't even know what I'm playing. Even nowadays, I can't tell to my musician, oh, this is a E, this is a, I have no clue. Even the key, I have no clue. I just hear it. I know I can hear it, but I can't really tell. So whatever I hear, I transcribe to the guitar. Yeah.
Super cool. So did you learn with tablatures, for example, or were you
No,
nothing? You just replicate.
House for me was I read and I was like, this is wrong. This is not how the musician was playing this. There's some.
Oh.
For example, if you do tee, it's not tee. It could be tee. And that little difference makes And the tabs couldn't give you that. Yeah.
So not classically trained, and the tabs also. So you're just let's do it my way.
Yeah, the fact I can hear things. I don't need it.
And so for you, when you look at the guitar, you remember the sound that when you put your finger there, it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So when you say I don't have that at all, but I didn't hear Jimi Hendrix. I heard a song by Cedar and Amy Lee, the singer of Evanescence. It's called Broken. And I just came back home one day. There was my cousin that played that on an old guitar that my dad had. And he was like, I wanted you to know. And I was like, what's that? And then you hear Amy Lee I love the way you love. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I'm broken. I was like, what's that? What's this object that you're using to make this sound that is pretty pleasant? And I did the same. Except it's not Voodoo Child, right? But yes, I spent some time on it. I was also bleeding and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the first song we hear when we decide to try to take the guitar and to use this is something you can't hear.
Yeah, it's a magical moment. Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's where you put your hands on the guitar.
On a instrument. Yeah.
So you don't start singing directly. So you first go instrument.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I'm a weird kid as well. So since I'm a kid, every noise in the room, in the house, I replicate it because I love the sensation of being in tune with the frequencies of the noise. So when my parents were vacuuming, or I can teach like the frequency of it.
It's so fun, like you have a voodoo, not a remix of Woodstock, you have like hoovering, washing dishes.
Like when the doorbell rings, or those things. Just I love to like. For example, I hear the radio. In UK, there's like a radio. All the time there is like you can listen this on an AI device or like smart speaker or something. And there's like, and I always want to match the perfect noise before it comes, and then I always get it. I was like, yeah, and it's just like challenges like that.
Yeah, so the sounds really matter. I think that I heard Jacob Collier talking about this also, about how noises around him influence him sometimes.
Ah,
I think as you know, my girlfriend's a composer, right?
Yeah.
We were last time we were checking because she's a huge fan of I'm gonna scrub the name, so
yeah.
Hans Zimmer.
Okay.
I don't know that. Just the Lion King. We were looking at how they created the sound that dragons do, and that sound was created by two guys. I think it's in Finland or Sweden. I don't know. And it actually came from the noise that a metro makes when they arrive in a station. Like they went there, recorded that, then put it in their like a DAW at that time, whatever it was, right? And like played with it, and that became like whatever the sound of the dragon does. It's a goddamn metro. That's how they like, hey, how does a dragon scream? And it's like, well, figure it out, Kevin. And they were just like, okay. And the guy goes take the metro to go to work every day, and then one day he's just like,
Actually, yeah.
that's unpleasant, and at the same time a bit threatening because something is coming my way, right? Just like what a dragon would make me feel like. So could I replicate that kind of feeling? And that's
so clever.
it's crazy. And that now everyone like when you hear a dragon is that dude had a metro, like it's just like should sound like this. So that's why it's very interesting that you have this kind of connection, because actually a lot of people super creative like have that apparently.
Yeah.
I don't, but just a full discussion. Super interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So you start. Sorry, like I
No,
just sorry. So
it's cool to know those things.
for me, it's fascinating to hear that, like how people can be triggered by something in their environment and how that trigger their creativity. Because then all of this, if later on we talk about AI and stuff, you can still replicate that. But the beauty of a trigger that triggered you out of nowhere, unexpected, I think is beautiful, because then you have these kind of stories.
Yeah, exactly. Something warm to leave and just to tell. Yeah. Yeah, and then from so we breaking the noises, and then my dad was playing some Ray Charles, and I was like trying to mime his voice, and I was like, gosh, this is cool. Kind of similar. I can't make it like the same exactly, but it's like nearly close. And my parents were like, Kev, you actually can sing. That's cool. And then they pushed me into it was like a little comedy musical, like, and I had to be Rachel. Back in France, I had to be Rachel for like it wasn't like a big theater, but it was like small venues, and I was displaying real Rachel. I couldn't play the piano properly like he does, definitely he was doing, but it started from there.
How old were you?
I have a very big issue with time.
Like, the way you looked at me, I was like, I asked a question. Should I?
No, just let you know that
Roughly like you in your 20s or in your 30s? Because
it was in my teenager time.
so you had like, a
20s.
voice when you were a teenager?
Yeah.
So-
Oh, yeah.
okay.
At 18 or something like that, people were thinking that I was 30. I haven't changed since I was 19. So, yeah.
Me, my voice has always been annoying, and I think it's interesting. So at 18, you had that type of voice, like warm and a bit deep. Okay, so your parents just like, okay, he can play instruments, and now he can sing.
Yeah.
So then,
Rachel's, and then I was like, oh, one of the musician in the show was very young, younger than I, and he was playing the drums so well, and he said, come into my gig, I have a rock band. I was like, a rock band? I would love to see that. And I was like, oh my God, I want to create a rock band as well. this is so cool. So I grabbed the guitar and I was like, I need to create a song. And then I created a song. And then I was like, would you like to play the bass? Would you like to play the drum? And then I found two people that said yes. And then we arranged an appointment for the rehearsal. And then I played the song, and then they were like, man, this is cool. Let's jam now. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how to jam. I just know Voodoo Child and this song. And that's all. Yeah, I think it was, and then from there I was like, okay, I need to force myself to hear more what they do, and then try to find a place. And yeah, that's how I start to improvise. And we got approached by a record deal, and as any teenager, I don't know if I was teenager at that time or past 20s, around the time, we were like, gosh, this is cool, we're getting there. And then when you put your first step into the music, you have no clue what is the music industry. And yeah, long story short, we weren't happy with the album. And then the bass player was like, I was about to swear after. He was angry about it, and he was like, let's get out of this. But I said, but we signed a contract. We can't just, and he said, no, leave it. And then we decided, let's go to London. Didn't even save any money or something like that.
Let's go where the wind blows. Okay, got it.
So we went there, and then, wow, it was like a massive change. We were comfortable because I could go back home to my parents' place where I don't need to pay a rent. And then here in UK, it's like you're independent. You're not your family is not there. And yeah, it just turned really bad. The bass player, the flyer couldn't. I was even rejected. I was applying for jobs to get some money, and even McDonald's said no to me. I was like, wow, you called me Molo, and what's wrong?
But that's gonna be a good comeback story when you have a brand deal with them and say, hey, I want burgers for life. Like it's just like, you owe me now.
You owe me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so yeah, it turned out quite bad because we kind of broke up, the whole band, and I didn't want to give up, so I stayed, but with no money, means sleep in the street. And they stole my suitcase the first night, and I ended up playing. I'm glad I slept on my hard case, so on my guitar. Could play in Covent Garden, that was my spot. Play, get money, get a hostel, play, get a hotel, play. Oh, you should play here in my bar, get more money. And then I could pay a rent, get a little room. Wow. And then rebuild from there. And then from that period of time, it was a 6 month of evolving, and I just discovered myself in a way that was impossible. And then I had like the fact that I wasn't speaking French anymore. I had this massive, it was weird. It's like my brain separated kind of two people. So I was losing a little bit my French, and I was getting this new person because I couldn't hear. You know, when you speak two languages, you have a certain way to position your voice for a certain language. So when you hear your voice in French, you're like, that's who I am, that's how. And then when you speak in another language, weirdly you choose a tiny different note or timbre, and it's not you. It sounds like it's not you. And then I had this weird, not
A different perception of yourself. Yeah. It's like you have English Kevin and French Kevin.
Exactly, yeah. And then I decided to go forward in the way I wanted. I was like, the man who I am now is thanks to the struggle I had. And so I kept that. So the English kept.
Yeah, like that's that hustle. You're like that self-made story and that hustle. I didn't even know. I was unaware, but it's super interesting.
Yeah.
So like truly self-made hustle story. You lived it as English Kevin. It's like, it's fun. Would you say like then that you have the scar tissue as English Kevin and not the French Kevin? So French Kevin is soft. English Kevin is a bad motherfucker. But that's interesting. You lived it, as a French guy here, but you were like a Frenchman in London.
Yeah.
And I thought super interesting. So like pure self-made, you start playing live.
Yeah.
And then what's next? You started writing more. I guess you're writing more songs, and you
Yeah,
realize,
I wrote so many songs, and then yeah, I got lots of gigs. I became professional musician, played every single night, everywhere, and try always my luck because back in France, my parents taught me that you have a skin color like anyone, but this one makes you have to work a little bit harder, a little bit to be notified, like noticed at least. And so I pushed myself, push the luck that I needed to create that luck, and. I remember there's a good friend of mine said, oh, there is this very fancy bar where there's like open mics and like very famous people come. Would you like to go there? I was like, yeah, of course. Yeah. So I checked on the internet and I was like, okay, I'm going to go there. And it was a competition, that open mic. It wasn't like a normal open mic.
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, but I would love to go into. And then the woman was like, yeah, but everyone already applied for it, and they were auditioned, and now the competition starts. So
applications are closed.
so closed, everything's closed. So I was like, oh, okay, no worries. And so I said, I'm just gonna have a little drink. And so she was taking care of the contestants, sorry. And then while she was turning back, the sound engineer was like doing his little sound check. So the stage was on except the microphone, and I had my guitar. I was like, well, why not? So I grabbed the guitar, jump on stage. My voice is very loud when I sing. So I sang, and she turned and she was like, oh my God, where'd that come from? And then she was like, okay, you're part of the competition.
Oh, okay. So you played. Oh, you literally jumped on
I
stage.
jumped on stage, play acoustic, and yeah, she loved it and brought me into this competition. And
Okay.
it was like three stages, and then I won this competition. And when I won, someone from X Factor approached me. I was like, oh, this is cool. We're doing this. The new season is coming, and we're doing auditions. Would you like to do it? And as a musician, I was always like skeptical about this, and I said, no, I don't want to do a queue for a day to do what I do every single day.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, but I can give you an appointment. You come at that time at this place.
Oh, nice.
And that's what exactly.
Okay.
So I've done that, and then in front of the producer before even the show, and then since that it was just yes, yeah. Until the final. I mean, weird.
This is so interesting. Nice. And then after, like, you had like some mentors within X Factor and so on. Like, this has been like documented, but you were like with Nicole.
She's in yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the season, like, what happened? So you finished third.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happened then?
So after that, a lot of doors open, and but could be. I just sensed that it wasn't the right thing to do. So even big money, good contract, but it wasn't the direction in terms of the artist that I would like to be. So I said to myself, you might regret that, but you will enjoy the ride. So I decided to say no to everything.
Can you talk a little bit about this? Because I guess like a lot of people that will watch that will be like, what does this mean? Like, I said no because it didn't fit me. Like, what does this mean exactly? Like, did they want you to start dressing different? I mean, I guess like we all. It was about what they asked for. Like they want you to sing a different genre, to dress differently, to do some kind of like TV shows that would make you feel uncomfortable. What can you share about this? Like,
yeah, so it's not in terms of I have nothing against the people who took me on board from it. It's more the decision. I mean, we as a human, it's okay to don't agree, and that's yeah. So it was about just to do like covers and covers of artists that some of didn't even know before. I was like, no, just not me. I just don't want to do that. Yeah.
So the offers were about making covers a la Suzanne Boyle, right? Where like you would just record covers.
Yeah,
I think she also recorded
everything. Is like everything that came to me was like, this is already made, and that's what you need to sing. And I was like, oh, this is no fun. where is me creating or creating with people, you know?
Interesting. So they were just like, okay, the guy has some hype, he's marketable.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like that they would come to you for covers because we know covers sell, and on covers, I guess that they own the publishing, which means that they would make extra money. But
Because
it's interesting to me.
Because they couldn't get who I was as an artist.
Get it?
That's the thing. They because they those kind of team and labels. They know what to expect from an artist coming out of X Factor, from X Factor. So it's nothing like who I was, who I am.
It was like 7 years ago, right?
Yes,
That was not that long ago.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Do you think it's correlated to a lot of people in the music industry saying that A&R died off roughly like in the last 10 years? Like that we don't develop, nurture talents the way it was happening before?
Yeah, the pace is so fast that they can't even keep up. So they like, if we don't know who you are, we know what works. Let's go to that way, because what in the end is needs money to come in. And
So it becomes very quantitative versus qualitative, right?
Yeah.
It's original because I just went to see the Tina Turner musical.
oh yeah,
And it's how was I mean, well, her life is nuts. So talk about self. But what was very interesting to me is that when she had like her big break, like around her in her 40s, I think something like this, there was a guy from the UK. Like it's like a label.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the days, right? But he fought like tooth and nails because after we checked on Wikipedia, like, and actually, yeah, there was actually an A&R guy from a label here that actually like was fighting tooth and nail to say, but Tina Turner, it's going to be amazing. What he managed to do at that time is to put her in touch with songwriters and so on that match what she wanted to sing. But same, like at first he was saying no to all these deals, and that guy just saying that the age and so on was irrelevant, that what she could give on stage was just amazing. And so if we would map her with proper songs, it would be phenomenal. It was 100% right. Yeah. But these songs, she would only accept the one that she liked. And so, for example, like they play in the musical about her for the first time seeing like a synthesizer, right? Like things are like digital.
yeah,
She grew up like with a very bad like family story and stuff like this. And so it's really interesting to see like that guy not only understood who she was or tried to understand who she wanted to be, but also had a strong opinion about her talent. And so you match talent with what you want to be, and you get sparkles. Like I tell everyone, is like if you're dating someone that speaks another language, you have way more incentives to learn that language than if you just learn that school.
yeah,
And so in that era, I think that what that guy managed to do is to map her with what she wanted to be. And then you had the Tina Turner that now everyone knows. It's really impressive. So I guess at that point, the people that were approaching you didn't have that kind of
yeah.
way to find that, or didn't have the incentive. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this was what A&R people are supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's like artists and repertoire. So that's what they're supposed to do. Like, of course, you have some people like we could find, I guess, like covers and things that we know sell. But now when we see the degradation worldwide about like how hard it is to break new artists, like for real, more than a year, like some like real talent that would stay there. Now when you see like, again, Theatre the Musical, it was packed. Like the name resonates so much. It's not just because the songs are amazing. For example, some of the songs, I didn't even know like that it was from her. And I arrived and I'm just like, I came there just because I'm impressed by the performance. Like, and so I think that this you need to build it because of course then it becomes marketing and it's interesting. So it's interesting as you saw it from that side where like you have money offered, contract offers, which is the dream for many people. Which is like, yeah, but if you force me to learn a language just at school, right? I'm just like, I know I'm not going to be 100% myself.
Yeah.
And so then I guess you had the choice of, do I see this as a step that will help me to get to the next level? Or do I see that something that will become quickly a dead end because I will be the cover guy?
Yeah. And I didn't want to start like this. And mom always told me like, never forget where you come from. And I was so scared because being from X Factor, when you're in that world, you have like 11 people just for you as a team, just for you, and for the clothes, for the songs, for blah blah blah, and you just like surrounded by all those people, and then when you come out, it's almost you're nearly alone, and then you create you have a manager that approach you. So it's not the fame that can. I don't think the fame can turn my head, but I was scared about it because I was like, oh, but if I, in my head, I was like, if I get famous and I do this for the rest of my life, I'll be this person. And I don't want that. I want to still be who I am and just making mistakes sometimes and
It
those.
must be tough because then you have the taste of it.
Yeah,
How easy life could be.
yeah.
I saw just the trailer of like a documentary they're gonna put, I don't know where, about former pop stars in the UK specifically, right? Of like girls band or like people that popped for like maybe a year or two, like in the 90s and so on. And you see the footage of that time, and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's the new Britney Spears, and you're like Mariah Carey. But then after everything, like two singles, one went okay, the other one was bad, and so they got dropped.
Yeah.
And now, like some of them are working at Tesco, some of them are like, it's really not the music life they imagine.
Mentally.
Yeah, they are all saying that.
Yeah.
That mentally, having the taste of everything is done for you around you, and then suddenly you're dropped.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a way to actually, I don't
I mean,
know.
that's depression. I agree that, I don't know. It's just like, if you can't control it, it's hard. I mean, to come back to this, yeah.
I think a lot of we talked with Kevin that I interviewed 3 weeks ago about the advances, right, and about how people can lose their mind, and like a lot of rappers, they would like they famously like spend all their money, and I'm just like, well, when I was 19, no doubt, like I'm tired of working at McDonald's, right? So you give me money, your fault. It's gonna be gone by Sunday, right? It's like, but where's Sunday, Ben? Yeah, give me 2 hours. Like, that's a lot. Don't underestimate me. I can spend that money easily, and none of it would matter. Like that money we spend in irrelevant things.
Yeah.
But just because you have that kind of frustration of like, oh, money should solve everything. And I guess if you don't have time to learn how to use money, it can be very dangerous.
Dangerous, yeah.
This is so interesting. So, but you had you managed to keep your head cool
Yeah.
in these days to make this decision. What happens next?
So means I kind of also lost a little bit of time by doing so. The leverage, when fire is on, sometimes it's nice to get on, and I push it a little bit down, and it was hard to get out of this management company. And then when I got out, I created a team of manager and a lawyer and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this feels like family. I can trust those people. And from there, we build, and they guided me and also believed in what I wanted to become, and we followed together, and then we're still together.
It's so cool. So now it's your team. Like you managed to put the pieces together yourself. It's your own puzzle.
Yeah. I love to be in control. In a way, I love to be in control because actually, none of them like if I fail, I prefer that it's my fault. So because if then the life would still go on, mine would be like done because I can't live without music.
Yeah.
So I prefer to have control and enjoy the ride. Then I just prefer.
You're accountable.
Yeah, I prefer to be incredible. Yeah.
I mean, I respect that. What we're trying to do is to try to empower artists a lot, and to basically say there is the creative part that all artists share. And then the fact that creativity resonates with a lot of people, not that's something else, right? Some people want to be artists and will never be. Some people should be, didn't manage because of different reasons, and some people are. But if you create, the point is that if you want to make money out of it, you have to now participate in the economy of attention.
Yeah.
Because it's entertainment. And what I'm trying to tell everyone is that it's not dirty to talk about money, ownership, accountability, because if you don't, someone else will do it for you very happily, but for a huge fee, and for like you're gonna lose potentially a lot of feathers doing this. And so I'm telling everyone that as an artist, I think it's very important to see yourself if you want to make money out of it, because you can also just make music for your family coming back home, or just you love playing your guitar. But if you want to make money out of it, you have to see it as a potential business. And so, as you just did, assemble a team.
Yeah.
to act like a business, like because the law matters, your taxes matters, who is giving you money matters, how you're gonna market yourself matters, because then you can have consequences on your real personal life. So I really like that you did this. So DIY vibe, and like you started assembling your team and you're growing. But
And it was the same. I actually just come back in days. It's the same for creating music. When I recorded, my first experience was in a studio recording music. And I was just watching. I love to understand how things work. So I was looking at the sound engineer. I was like putting this plug in there, putting this reverb here, like doing the dynamic and in terms of volume. I was like, oh my God. This is how, in a certain way, this is how simple it is. And in another way, it's technical. And I was like, this is very cool. So I asked my musician, we can record ourselves, you know? We don't need to pay like a lot of money to get the thing done. We're gonna make little issues, but that's okay because we're gonna make an issue and then that's a snapshot. Then we improve and then we improve and then improve. But they were like, oh no. And then I was waiting for them to send the song, to send them part. So I was like, I'm just gonna do everything myself.
because I was waiting for you to get there, because you're also producing your music.
Yeah.
This is so interesting because when we spoke during the pandemic, and I was calling you because like, Kevin, I'm trying to change my loop pedal and my mic, and actually I would like two mics because I want to do it like Ed Sheeran. I got my RC30, and have you already plugged it this way? And you're just like, no, why would you do that? And I'm like, well, I can plug it, it just doesn't work. And she's like, well, let me call you back like in an hour. And then that's like, it's so fun because that's literally what sparked the origin story of like our friendship and the like Lissen and like the business we're running now. But this is so funny because me, music production, I tried during the pandemic. I did put two mattresses, put the cover over your head, and on my knees. I did it. I created a whole tent, right? You had mattress, I had an extra mattress, I put it there, put the pillows on the side, put the cover over my head, and I was like, trying to just recover, cover some songs and just to see if it would work. But then after you record, and then you have to put it in Logic, and then after you have to take care about EQ and volume and stuff, and I'm like losing light. Oh no! And so that's why I was calling you and some friends because I'm like, please, can we make it happen? But yeah, at the same time, I had like the way the music industry works. I don't like it too much, and I'm working in finance and IT, and my life is way more comfortable with what seems to be the grass is always greener, the expression. It didn't look greener at all. In music, I was like, okay.
Honestly, I'll never forget because when you asked me questions about this, and then I was telling you, I was like, gosh, there's nothing cool about it. Like
no, they get a lot of time. It's just like it's very cumbersome, Kevin. It's just it's okay. I'm happy to do it. And I was like playing music a lot during the pandemic, and it made me so happy. At that time, I think I discovered the pleasure not only on like when I was traveling and I was playing with my guitar and to perform and to write music, but also just to make music. It's weird, but I never saw music as a type of entertainment, as just making it for yourself. Like creating a song that, for example, you will never perform in front of people. Just as this kind of cathartic way of expressing yourself with yourself. Some people draw, some people go for a run, and it's just for themselves. They don't run on TV or whatever. And so during the pandemic, I discovered that. I was just like, oh, just playing that song, just playing Broken, I See There and Emily, brings me so much joy. And I don't want to record that song specifically. It's just like it's for me. And it reminds me, my cousin, my family, and so So it's really fun when you were saying this to me. And I remember I was just like, Kevin, but like, why do I have to do all of this? Like, why is it not IT? Why is it not automatable? And it was just like, but literally that laugh. And you're like, you're like, hey, rookie, calm down. I was like, I don't like it. I want to record it. It just doesn't work. Why? And so people were literally laughing at me on the phone because I really thought, I'm like, it's 2022. Why is it so complicated? And then I started realizing there was no money. I was like, the music industry is the only time in my life when I looked at it, I was just like, the grass is not greener at all. But there is a silver lining where I was like, there is still creativity. Creativity. And I was just, I need to speak more British, like creativity. And I was like, I think there might just be a way to do things differently. Because when I say talking to a lot of people, you included like that I discovered via So Far Sound, I was like, the love for the craft for me is like seeing you live, for example, like the how you transform going on stage and how you start playing things. And when we did the Sky concerts, like back in April, people still talk about this nowadays. I still receive, I sent you a screenshot of a DM, people saying, I didn't know Kevin. And what the hell was that? And I was like, yep, that's art. The concept of giving mind expanding experiences, and that you leave it on stage and people leave it, and people are gonna see you again like in 2 days, you're gonna perform again. This, I was like, okay, the grass is not specifically greener for the money,
Yeah.
but the endeavor of trying to make something that works better as an industry or differently, or like to interact with creatives, seem way more interesting than what at that time, at least what I was doing in finance. It means like a lot of jobs are interesting also in finance, but that type of interest for me was like day and night. And that looked greener in my head. So that's why it's really funny that now like it's full circle. We go back, you're like, oh no, to like, okay, let's do it. Again, the incentives. And so since then, so just to go back to, so you did it and you built your team. And so now you keep on building and you're doing live. What's up with the music? Because I know that you released some stuff.
Yes.
What's coming? What's the next year or so looking like for you?
So it's coming well because I released my first album last year and it went well in the music industry. And now everyone starts to understand who I am as an artist. And it's the next songs that will come up. It will be like a confirmation of who I am as an artist. And then from there, get the momentum and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so that people can discover me. Are like na 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 na. I love that. But so that people can discover you more and more.
Yeah.
So now this is where like I'm interested in the business aspect of things, right? So you talked about creativity and so on. And so if we put this aside for a minute, right? Now you have songs ready. Right, so you have your vehicle like to express yourself,
Fuel,
and not content, as some people might call it. Right, so you have songs that are ready for that. Right, I just people, the internet. So how do you organize that from a business perspective? Because it's like if you have in that case, like a product. Okay, that product is your album. So it's a bunch of songs that you think are gonna change people's lives, make them feel better about their days when they're going to discover that. You, as a business, will be able to monetize this through streaming platforms where you get a cut because it's your intellectual property, and them coming to see you live, for example. Now, how do you organize these revenue streams and the marketing, for example? How does it work in your head and with your team?
So the team says, go on your socials, make yourself seen by people, and but that's on the side of my manager's side. Sees how he can sell me. My role is to first of all make sure the musicians are ready about all the songs I created, and then from there started to I take the year as an album. What is important, an album, if you're back in days when you listen to a full album, the order of the songs is like crucial, and that's how I approach the year. It's crucial in terms of the season, the moment you release the song. So which song should be the first? What come after that? How many like content we place on the song? What, and then those things.
So full release planned. About like you're not going to sing about summer in January, right? So you would have a release plan and
2026.
Yeah. Get it. So you see it as a marketing release where you just like you tie up marketing content around the release of the body of work. And the point is to try to make that take off.
Yeah. And the mistakes that I used to do in the past, it was create a song on the fly and then release it, and then thinking about the other song. Then, so I advise to any like DIY artists to actually prepare all the songs before, like this, they're done. Then you can focus on the selling it. The share.
Things.
Because with one person, even though you have a team, you're still the one who has to do all the work. So yeah, it's not nice. It's not good for the longevity of yourself. You will burn out. I mean, anyone burns out. Or you see artists disappearing. They're like, oh, I've done this, and then like 6 months later they come back. It's like, oh, and it was like, unfortunately with the algorithm and everything, they're like, who are you again? You know?
So that's the thing that I want to crack, fan engagement, because the point that like it's not back in the days. I'm not a huge fan of the expression, but like the concept of like you could have an artist releasing something amazing in January. People love her or him for like a quarter, and there's some tour and so on. But then when you come back the year after, people were still aware about who you were. And I feel like now we went a bit too far in the digitalization of consumption, aka people know the song but never know who sang it.
Yeah.
So then after you can have all the bad things that could happen with AI, with copycats and stuff like this, and this is really fostered by the current online ecosystem where it's just like you are the supply chain, and the only way to make more money for all these UGC platforms is to pay the supply chain less, because they make, so I don't know, Tesco pays them to sell something, they use this and to create whatever, if you're on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, you are used as a marketing material. So there is, hey, we call you back after the break, and there's an advertising to sell a mug at Tesco.
Yeah.
The point is that now you can increase your margin if you pay less the person that is on TV, aka the artist, and this is where AI and so on comes into play. For me, that way of consuming content should not apply to everything else. I don't think it's a silver bullet. That's why I think music is such a specific world, because if people would realize that they could have more from that song, because at the moment it's just that song. They don't know who is behind it. But if they would know like, oh, I love that song, aka the person that created that could give me more emotions. It's art. It's about emotions.
This is the goal in the end.
Yeah. And so I feel like, how as a consumer will I want, or can I get that connection? And that's what people call fan engagement in business, right? It's like, and so you as an artist, how could you offer something? That's what people do on Patreon sometimes, for example.
Yeah.
Bandcamp passes and so on. I feel that building a better way to create, to foster this kind of community that, again, used to be called fan clubs, right? We have literally like the people that really wanted more from you, like from a t-shirt to a beanie to anything else. But can it be, I don't know, come with me to record in the studio tomorrow, or let's do a meet and greet, or come and watch the podcast with us.
For example.
That, by the way, Bruna, you had this like for free. But like, how can I foster that relationship? Because you always, for me, you have three segments of consumers, like worldwide in any industry, but in music, there will be casual listeners, fans, and super fans.
Yeah.
And my point is like, you always have casual listeners listening to a song and just make them feel cool, and like in 2 weeks they forgot about it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
The point is, out of 100 people, if you have 80 of them that really, 80% that represent casual listeners, you manage to have 12 of them that are fans and 8 of them are super fans. Then what a super fan wants and needs in their life regarding art and your music normally compensate the lack of money that you make on the other side of it. And so then you can keep on creating. Because at the end of the day, if you want to make this your job, it's like, do you make enough money out of the emotions you're giving? And I feel like right now that funnel doesn't work really well in music. That's what we're gonna start experimenting soon with Lissen, but that's what I think would be great, because otherwise you're at the mercy of the algorithm constantly.
Yeah.
And so now you have, for example, had like some websites that were doing like different things, the e-commerce and so on, that literally got deranked by Google overnight. Like just 2 months ago, that they used to have like 150,000 people going to their website.
Yeah.
And just because their search algorithm was changed. And so suddenly no one sees them, because online without a search algorithm, you are no one.
Yeah.
Now the point is like on Google, people are trying to discuss, right? And Google is the whole internet. But then when you arrive to TikTok, Instagram and so on, you have no recourse, because you disappear, but someone else is going up. So you're gonna say, oh, it should be me, not him. But so how do you do that? And so the best is what people do now with newsletter. I don't know how you manage that relationship. So right now, how do you manage that relationship with your fans, for example? Do you have a way to organize that?
So I don't have a lot of tools.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So for now, it's just through comments. Some super fans we exchange numbers, so we just talk about life.
Yep.
And one of my best became a very good friend of mine. She was a serious super fan, but we become. She sent me like cards for my birthday. I sent her cards for her birthday. She sent present to my daughter. You know, it's just like become like good friends. The fan, we on comments, and the casual listener The only goal is just to give them an emotion in the 50 seconds. Yeah.
Yes, which is at the end like impacting the way you create art.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to find a way to actually, and that's what, like, shameless plug, that's what we're gonna literally do with Lissen, like in the next 6 months.
There is one thing on Listen that I absolutely love is the fact that usually, how do you know who's listening your music? And how can you say thank you to them? You can't. You don't have the tool to do that. And I'm very happy that there is this kind of tool. It's like very secure in terms of privacy, you know. But you can give something to this person to say thank you because I live to make someone feel good, and you know. And I want to say thank you. I don't know actually. Even my superfan, I know she's listening. I know all of my superfans are listening, but I don't know if they're the one who's listening the most, you know? I just want to say, you know, those...
Oh, yeah, your superfan from last month is even aware that you just released something this month. Like
For example.
visibility is the name of the game. Yeah. Oh, like, I'm glad that it's not a paid sponsorship.
No, it's just, it's a very key point. It's a very key point.
It's like so simple.
It's like even almost as important as the money.
It is because at the end, that's what people call an acquisition funnel, right? So the point is, for me, when I figured that out, like literally after the conversation we used to have like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I'm like, if it doesn't exist, it's simply because there's no incentive at the moment in the ecosystem, right, in the industry, to do so. And indeed, they were not existent until now.
Yeah.
Because now a lot of people, a lot of artists, but also managers, label, a lot of people trying to do their best work and trying to release the best music are basically saying like that they would like something to change. And the way they do it is by literally trying new things regarding royalty models, regarding new business models. And that's literally what we are doing now. So that's why it's so exciting because we're going to go with it and we're going to learn as we go because, you know, this meme is like, is this fan engagement in the room with us right now? Like, you know, this meme of like what are you talking about? Yeah. It's like, I feel like people will only realize it when they live it. So literally like 2 weeks ago when we did this show in Shoreditch, I literally saw like one of the girl from the audience that talked to Kiara that was performing. And they were, I don't know, but like there was literally a question of like, hey, would you play for my birthday in 2 months? Right there, right? And so now if you like freeze that, right? Just like, okay, right now, how would you organize that? You take their Instagram, you take their WhatsApp, or like basically you find a way to have a direct channel of communication. But then after, well, you're in the middle of all her friends. And like, so now like you're an artist like trying to organize a show, but you don't know where it's going to be. You don't know how it's going to be organized. You don't know how many people will come. You don't know how the payments are going to be done. The equipment, the PA system. You say AE, people are like, what do you mean? Like audio engineer, is it medicine?
I'm talking about my birthday.
Yeah. And so all of this is like, why is it so complicated? Why is it so cumbersome? It's just because up until now, I don't think there was like an incentive to actually make this simpler to organize, which is what, again, like, I think in the next 6 months, we're going to be able to show that. So you arrive, you go to a show, you love it, you're already in touch with the artist, you don't need to exchange the Instagram. So if you want, you can. I mean, do whatever you want, but then you have a way to be like, hey, like this is the thing that I would like. And the artist is like, well, that's the way it's organized, and boom, it's streamlined. You just like, the AE could get there, like the venue would be that, and then you arrive, like money-wise, for example, you could imagine the money is in escrow, so everyone is happy. So you just focus on your art, doing what you want to do. The fan is like, oh, that's done. It's secured. There's no like back and forth. And this again could be like a show, but it could also be, hey, that's a birthday card. Like I just wanted to say hi. I just thank you. I just realized you're in my top 10 fans over the last 6 months, and just thank you.
Yeah.
And you don't know, like even a digital card or something, because we respect, of course, data privacy, but even just like that little gesture of a mini gift that costs nothing, but just to say, I see you.
I see you, and that's, I mean, I guess most of the musicians are like this. I love to create. That's my pleasure to create, and the other pleasure is to give to people. So I think we all the same in that. Because I met so many people that listen to my music, and I had no clue how impactful I was in their life, and I don't even remember the name. It was just that we were walking on the street, and then the person approached me, and then, oh my God, my kid, when he saw, and then now he's getting better. He's got some of them had like illness, or some of them doesn't have, but they mentally they don't know what to do at this time, and I help them. But yeah, I mean, thank you, but you know,
It's crazy because the fan wants to be seen, but the artist doesn't have the ability to. Because if they, even if they contact you on Instagram, whatever, you have so many DMs, hard, like it's impossible to remember the person and so on.
Yeah.
But now, like I remember going to a Bruce Springsteen concert.
Yeah.
Where I saw a guy. It was like, that's my 17th, and I was like, wow. And I was like, you're Springsteen. Okay, you're the boss, and like you're doing great. Like respect. I had tears in my eyes. Like that was God level. But would you not like to know that guy? Because 17.
Yeah.
You are definitely in the realm of superfans.
Yeah.
Right? But that guy, you send like a hello message, like, you know, like Cameo or something like this, right?
Yeah.
But you don't wait the 17th concert. You do it at the 3rd because you're just like, oh, wow, okay, you like what I perform.
Yeah.
You try to build and nurture that the same way. And I tell everyone, and I know it's like sometimes offending for some artists to be compared as a normal business, right? But if you go to like Tesco, whatever, you have the Tesco Club card.
Yeah.
Right? Like in America, they're gonna say, "What are you talking about?" But like you have like loyalty points.
Yeah.
Something that as a business we tell you like we value you being a recurring customer. It's that basic. It's as old as business. And so you're just like, yeah. So why would artists not be able to do this? And I think that this, when it's gonna be possible, is gonna be very interesting to see how people actually like music react, because at the moment they just can't have that.
No.
If you're a gamer, you play video games, you have this gaming platform that actually reward you going back. Like, okay, you like that new game that you just played and bought, already tried this one for 20% less. Or what about we give you like an access to 2 weeks? But what about an artist would say like, hey, instead of having to call the radio to say if you hear Ed Sheeran twice in a row, you can come see him backstage. What if you could do this directly with someone that you know already loves you like on a platform? I think that would be really interesting to see where that could evolve.
And you see how it's, I don't know if it's, I have this in my mind and I don't know if it's nice to say, but it's business in the end.
Do it. We said it.
Yeah. So you see exactly what you said about, oh yeah, you have to send a message on the radio to get those tickets.
Okay. Yeah.
Who gets the money is the radio, because like everyone would love to see this artist. So it's like times 100,000 people will send this £2 message to say, yeah, I'm in this thing. And then they receive another message saying, oh, if you send another message, you can get like even more, and then you more chances.
Yeah.
So in the end, they get even more than the ticket or what they sell, and they get the stuff, and the artist has no clue or will not even get a percentage on this, or
You get the marketing, but like your label pays them to market you, and they also make money. So they make money both ways. But if you, it's always if you have B2C, right? If you have the relationship with customers, then you sell it to market something. But indeed, as an artist, again, why is it fully disintermediated?
Yeah.
Why can't you just organize this yourself?
Yeah, that's the only thing. As it's like, I know in life you pay for everything, but when you create your product and then you sell it, you still have to pay to sell. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of a similar way, because actually when Tesco, someone create a product, they sell in Tesco, but they have to sell it, not to Tesco, no?
Yeah.
So
There is a supply chain.
yeah, there's a supply chain, but they get a bigger percentage on the product they
But if you buy,
sold.
but if you buy like a cereal box, like Kellogg's has their own loyalty program. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So you can have a loyalty program with the distributor,
Yeah.
Tesco, that would be like a music streaming platform right now, right now.
Yeah.
But then Kellogg's can still say that's our loyalty program, right? That's not possible for you at the minute, is it?
Exactly not.
There you go. So it's that simple. And then people say, oh, but you can still put your link in bio and so like it's just like online, you lose roughly like 90% customers after if they have to go to another application.
Yeah.
The other day, a guy told me that you have to treat every click, like or pressing, like the app, as a godsend event, as the app, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, they clicked on the button. Yeah. Oh yeah, right. And so like, if you, that's why you don't put like 10 screens. That was again 20 years ago. You put 10 screens because you want to be sure that you have the address, the name, the social security number, and just like give us your email address. Yeah. Because we know that you're going to be bored, and the attention span right now is abysmal.
And it's so like I mean, they build it in a very, very clever way because even myself, that would love to give my time to other artists or people, I can't. It's like, I mean, I don't go often on social except when I need to speak to the people. But it is creating us in a way you just don't have the time. I mean,
Yeah.
to have the time is like an investment.
It's dopamine loops. It's literally a physiological trick that
Colors.
yeah, the execs at Facebook that created one of the first like news feed
Yeah.
and Twitter and so on. There is this documentary that I recommend everyone to watch behind smoke screens. No, it's a Netflix documentary about derrière les écrans de fumée in French.
Okay.
I totally forgot what it's called, like about the kind of dopamine loops that they created,
Yeah.
so that their kids are not even allowed to use their own platforms because they know it's addictive.
They know.
The Social Dilemma.
Social
Yes,
Dilemma.
I recommend everyone to watch The Social Dilemma to understand how these are physiological trick. Literally, like people that, oh, my kid's attention span is diminishing. Well, it's normal. It's by design. You are drugging them without even knowing it. That's the very pervasive aspect of it. It's like no one believes that you could be hooked on a screen. But it's literally like scientifically proven. And that's why mental health is down the drain and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And the other one for artists that I also recommend everyone to watch is The Playlist, which is the Spotify's origin story.
Ah, yeah.
You understand a lot about what happened 15 years ago when this was created.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I tell everyone we're season 2. But yeah, so I feel like this is like a lot of things are like right in front of our faces. But again, the way the tech world has evolved, and again, coming from a tech guy, we can iterate. I say we because I'm trained IT guy, but you can iterate so quickly in the digital world. I was today like someone like that want to go in IT like called me for advices, right? And he was just like a sound engineer that worked with us, by the way. I'm not gonna name him, but super cool guy. And he was like, Ben, I want to go to IT, right? Because compared to audio engineer, like I feel like there are more opportunities over there. So like, yeah, go for it. Go there. Like Ben was asking me the other day, where is the money in London? I'm like, IT and finance. Like, I mean, I'm not a hypocrite. Like, what do you mean where? Like, I can tell you where it is. Like, it's very simple. You know the towers?
Yeah.
It's guys like me. Like, it's very simple. But I can tell you what we do also. I can tell you why the money is going there. Because the way it's organized, the law of bad reasons. But there is also something that's like, you can iterate so quickly in the digital world. It's like if you could build a house, you don't like the wall, you break it down, replace it with another one, and the roof, you want to change it, do it in 2 hours.
Yeah.
You cannot do this in real life with most things. Like an artist, you arrive, when you're on stage, the product needs to be ready.
Yeah.
Like if you just learn the song as you sing, it can't work.
Yeah.
But with technology, and specifically digital technology, you can do this. And these small iterations made the technology world aware very quickly about how you can hook consumption.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, again, back in the days where you put a bit more sugar in your drink and you're like, oh, they're gonna love it so much more, and let's print money. Now it's like, oh, we found a way to do this through a digital screen. And that's why it's so
Powerful.
yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right? It's like it can do so many things, and that's why like, yeah, then the next point is AI. But I feel like what's difficult on AI, I don't think like we're gonna be able to even like, oh my gosh, we're gonna kidnap you? It could stay. No, but that's why I think it will be really great if people would be a bit more educated about what technology can do. Because I have a lot of my mates, for example, from the south of France that are still now, I can see it, like they're unaware about the power that lies in the hand of big tech, for example.
Yeah.
Or they are, but they don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like you're screaming at the wind. You're angry because you see Google is big or Amazon is big and you're like, F them, but you don't know exactly why. And if you work in IT or if you pass by finance or you do like a big tech, you know why. It's because they found a way to control very well that relationship with the users. It's B2C. As long as you have that, if you have the consumers, then all the rest will come anyways, regardless. And that's what like we're discussing with people who used to work with the majors, and they explained how Ticketmaster started growing. Ticketmaster acted as a pure technology company.
Yeah.
And back in the days, you wanted to buy a ticket for Mariah Carey or whoever else was at Sony, like MJ and so on. You go to mariahcarey.com.
Yeah.
There was no concept of like central ticketing platform that everyone used. And
Or you go to the ticket store in the mall and then...
Yeah, physical tickets, right?
Yeah.
And so the labels back in the days used to own that. right? So they own the distribution channel. They own the place where, as a consumer, I would spend money. And Ticketmaster like made a brilliant move that they basically convinced them to say, hey, let us take care about all this technology, dirty stuff. Let us take care of it for you. And you know what? We're even gonna pay you for that. And they were just like, wait, what? If someone buys a ticket on our platform, we give you like whatever, $1. And the label was like, these idiots, like you're gonna pay me for someone to pay me. So I make money from the consumer and you, yeah. What they were doing and what the labels back in the day didn't get, and now of course they are trying to change that, but that they get the email address, which in the digital world, this is gold. Like you did, but no one understood the concept of data mining. No one understood. I mean, the CEO of Ticketmaster, I forgot the name of like right now, my bad. Literally saw that early on, and he was like, "What matters is the relationship with the customer." Fan engagement. Again, as Ticketmaster don't engage per se as an artist could, but the concept is that. That's why now, why do artists create like a Twitch account? Because you can get tipped. You cannot get tipped on Spotify. No. You cannot get tipped like in like so many other platforms. And you're just like, why do I have to create another account? My music is there. My fans are there. Why don't I have it? It's because of the way it was built. Yeah. So that's why fan engagement is the name of the game for me. And so if we manage to find a way to crack it, people like you that already organize their business, that know as much as possible how it works, now you're gonna be able to fully think as a business, because now what is eluding you is the consumer base. You don't own anything in this. And again, not owning the people, is like owning the relationship, aka the email or a way to get in touch with. That's it. And so that's where I think consumption is going. Like, because people are realizing it, now it's like, not even a behind the curtain conversation. Now artists are talking about this openly. We're doing this, everything is, we're building in public, so everything we do is public. Yeah. People are just like, wait a minute, why does that make sense? And people are asking me, where does the money come from? I'm like, there is a lot of money that is being captured at the moment by people that if you would manage your own business yourself, they would not. Yeah. And so the pro rata system that is on all these big music platforms right now, for example, is like, if you would go to, again, Tesco and you buy a can of Coke and you leave and Red Bull just made a commission. That would make no sense to anyone. But right now, that's what's happening on Spotify if you listen to someone. You arrive, I just listened to Kevin Davy White, a bigger artist is gonna take a piece of my money. And I don't even know them. I don't even know who they are. Yeah. No one would accept in real life the fact that their money is being used on things that they're not aware of. But with streaming and subscriptions, that's the case. Yeah. That's why their side is like, if we manage to crack that, we don't just like optimize the money that already exists. You actually grow the pie, because now you're a full business. You actually understand, you're fully accountable. Yeah, and that's what I've been waiting for. Like in my career, it's like, how can I get the tool that allow me to actually have control? Because I just don't. And also, I feel like this tool can also, I used to be full-time a musician my whole life, and like living week by week, month by month. Sometimes big chunk of money comes in, and then for 3 months, because the season is quiet, you're like, okay, there's nothing, so you don't stress, but you're like, oh, what's happening? I need to, and to have this little tool that you know that you will receive from like people, so it gives you like even more motivation to actually release even more. And then the people that listen to you, you get a normal part of your money back, because you invest in it, and that can help you to even go further, because you have a little bit of income coming back. Then you can invest a little bit more. Mentally, you can invest more. It totally changes everything. It's just like you try to create a startup, but you already have 1 million in the bank. Yeah. And so the concept of risk is totally different. Yeah. Like if you already know that if you fail, you can still have like a bed and supper, it's totally different. Yeah, totally like managing this and the concept of cash flow and so on. At the end, fan engagement means data. Data that if they don't give it to you, someone is lying. Like there is, at some point, if you don't get the data of the audience and user base that you are managing, something is fishy. Yeah. And I'm trying to scream it everywhere to be like, if people don't give you data that you helped build, there is something fishy. Yeah, that's so true. And like your videos, it's so funny. It's funny but sad at the same time. I saw some of your videos where you go in the street
And you just ask people who you like naturally. Well, who do you listen to? Yeah, I listen to blah blah blah. And do you know that blah 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 doesn't get that money? What do you mean? You know,
It's the biggest.
99%.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say
Yes.
99.5, like very close to 100.
You know what's funny is that I have like 50% of the comments are from people said, "Oh, I learned something." When I say people, I mean consumers.
Yeah.
50% of that is like artists telling me, "Thanks for trying to make this more transparent."
Yeah.
And actually, right, 50-50. I'm not great at math today. I would say 40-40, and then 20% are actually a lot of people from the music industry. And now I met like some people that have been or are, or they're like, they will be. They're like ultra successful at like stadium levels and stuff, and they don't know that. And every time I talk to them, and we met just because of these videos of me being, again, online, a dancing monkey. Because again, the algorithm, like it's like God, right? Like you don't know.
It's not even a time where you posted anything.
It's really like Charlie made a comment the other day. She said like being on socials, it's like actually playing a real life video game. I actually like the comparison. She's like, it is true. You don't know exactly who is managing that. You're like a character in a video game. It's just like, hey, where do we go next? You just won that. It's like, why? You went viral. And but why? Just go to the next level. And think, but shut up, otherwise you won't be viral tomorrow. Like, oh, wait a minute, it's a video game. You're just like, oh, I just like, you know, like when you have like turtle stuff in Mario Kart, it's just like, oh, I got the red one. Why? I don't know, there was a question mark on the cube, I just broke it, and it just
Yeah, exactly.
right? And it's really interesting the way she described it. It's like, yeah, you just like here and you just don't know why things happen.
Yeah.
But it's data. People tell me the 20% are just like, oh, we didn't know. And when I sit with them and I talk to them, I'm just like, some of them careers spanning 20 years. Some of them with like maybe like 5 hits. They don't know about that. And I'm like, my 2 cents, if out of like 20 years, no one spent the time to explain to you how the money that you get is being routed to you,
Yeah.
you should really think a bit more about the why. Because the concept, there is this cliche of like artists are not great at business. I would not deny or like confirm that because I don't know enough artists and so on. What I know for sure is that you're of artists, like they're not like the business acumen, I would say, right, is not widely spread through creatives, right? And to be honest, it's totally normal. Like you have a lot of videos online that explain this. Like the creative brain and the actually more like engineer brain it's very rare to have both. Right? Because it's different things, right? Different parts of your brains are being used for different things.
Yeah.
But one thing for sure is that the data to become a creative is widely accessible. Everyone can learn how to play guitar, learn how to sing, like you have that accessible. But the data to be an artist on the business side of things is obfuscated a lot. It's very difficult to find this. No one is talking about it. Actually, Prince was talking about it a lot. But at that time, I couldn't understand. People were just like, oh, it's just...
He's moaning.
Yes, it's just like, he's just, complaining about things. And also, I just want to hear him talk about when he wrote Purple Rain, right?
Yeah.
But if you go back to the footage of some of his clips, MJ, like Michael Jackson was talking a lot about business back in the days, right? I mean, he historically bought the publishing rights of the Beatles, by the way, right? So he was far from being stupid on the business side of things. They were talking about it, but now these clips never surface. Like, you don't see them again. But you see the clip of Mariah Carey talking about the Christmas song, All I Want for Christmas Is You, but you don't see the clips when she's talking about how difficult it was to manage a relationship with whatever exec she was talking about. It's interesting, right? Why can you just literally like learn how to play guitar directly and it's pretty complex, right? So it's not something easy. But why, when you're an artist, like you don't have that sort of say, by the way money comes to you, it's someone else managing that. Well, but it's my business. Like if I open a shop and I sell vegetables, I know how many people bought a tomato, how many people bought an orange.
Yeah.
Why don't I know that? Well, it's something called a stream. What is a stream? See, if people listen to your music for 30 seconds, why 30? Why would you ask that? And I'm like, that's just what I ask. And people are just like, why would you ask that? And I'm like, I don't know. What, is it forbidden? Like literally, I had at least 2 meetings that I can remember now very vividly. I will not name names, but like when someone say, why would it matter? I had, why would it matter? And why would you ask that? And I was like, well, because I do math, right? I'm sorry, I just want to know, like if I release music now I can't because I have a music platform. So if I release my music, God forbid that I become like people like my music, people will say, oh, you just did it because you're on platform. So I will not release anything for now. But like I was just asking questions, people were just like, why would you ask that? And most people were just like, I don't know. This is going to change.
Yeah.
Literally now we have people backing us, and what matters to them is to actually be sure that creative people And again, not just art, because in other industries it's also like bad, right? Like just to spread the word, to be like transparency is key.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that information, there is something that you should look at a bit more carefully.
Yeah. Look how I was thinking about YouTube. I was like, maybe some of the artists should be a YouTuber, because there's money from your views. Of course, you don't see everything how it comes, but it gives you like motivation to do something. I think it's like, listen, you give us like the tool of a YouTube for music.
It's the incentive.
Yeah.
Trying to create a fair ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because then once that's done, and that's going to take a lot of hard work, right? But once you have this fair ecosystem, then everything blossoms.
Yeah.
Like tech, for example, you have like now with AI and so on, like people can just start creating their tools.
Yeah.
Like you can go on your laptop, start coding something, you put a website, no one stops you. Right? So then after, like, you become big and stuff, you have to take care about partnership and so on. But like the whole point is that I could create a website right now to sell chips, like right now, in 2 hours.
I mean, do you think e-commerce included?
I thought you would ask me, like, do you think chips? And like, no.
Guys, do you think it's good as, because
Not only is not as good, but like you can go on Shopify,
Yeah,
and like you create your store in 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
The whole point is that you don't need the knowledge of how to do it. You have
yeah.
tools to empower you.
That's very true.
Why the only tools that empower you in music are about marketing? Why don't have the one where you can own the audience?
I guess because the people hire. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's true. The people hire enjoy to have some bread on the table. That's all. Yeah.
It's, again, all of this is it's very likely extremely complex, but
Yeah, it's very
the
complex.
only way for me to make the whole ecosystem evolve, and a lot of people, for example, most people I met in the music industry, to be honest, actually love music and try to do great stuff. So, but you also have some of them that are toxic.
Yeah.
And so the point is that the only way to actually let people the ability to determine by themselves who you think is a good person or a bad person, just like in life, is to be transparent.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're gonna really try to push. And again, in the middle of all of that is just business discussion, is just to have a great time, just like
Exactly as well. Yeah. That's
I'm like getting very
music is all about good vibrations. Yeah.
That's the best way to end the episode. That's a great closing there. But yeah, next time let's dive into the beautiful world of AI and dope. But like now, otherwise we're gonna need like a coffee.
Yeah.
Kevin, thanks a lot. It was a super interesting conversation.
Thank you for having me. It's always nice to speak with you.
I'll see you on stage in 2 days. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Thank you.